Hello and welcome back to the DoneDeal YouTube channel. My name's David OC and I'm joined by the infamous car reviewer Bob Flavin. Now, Bob's been reviewing cars for years, but today he's brought something a little bit more modern, and it's actually a car that sits a little bit in a league of its own because it's fully electric, it's an SUV, and it's got 7 seats. This is the Mercedes EQB. You're watching DoneDeal. If you'd like to search for Mercedes for sale, hit the link up there. Now Bob, let's get into the review.
True.
So Bob, talk me through it. What exactly is it?
EQB, EQ is the electric division of Mercedes. So anything you see with EQ is going to have some sort of electric version. And in the B, there is a petrol version of this, a diesel version of this. But this one is the full electric version with 7 seats, looks like a mini G-Wagon.
It does.
A kind of a rounded off G-Wagon, I suppose, because it's quite boxy looking. But it does have 7 seats. I think it's the only 7-seat apart from the Tesla Model X that will have 7 seats as well on the market.
Which is nearly twice the price.
Yes, this is 74,000.
This is, but it starts at 64,000.
It does start at 64, but it is 74. It is on the higher side of the pricing bracket, but it is an incredibly good car with actually good range on it too. So you're paying a premium, but it is paying a premium in the right place.
Now, a big question I have, we've reviewed the GLB, which is the petrol diesel version of this, and I thought it was fantastic. So is it worth spending that extra 10 to 15,000 euro to go fully electric on that? Hopefully we'll find out in this review, but what do you think up front?
It's a lot, it's a big step. There's a lot of money between the two, but it's fully electric. So you're future-proofing yourself because, well, more or less everything's going to be going electric by 2030 anyway. We're going to find pretty much all the cars are going to be electric. So you're going to be in that right price bracket. And if most of these cars end up outside of schools, you know, they don't really end up off-road or climbing mountains around. So the school run, this is full electric. You're still going to win on every occasion. You're going to save money on petrol as well.
Right, so much like the ordinary GLB, the charging happens right here on the side. Now, the battery is a 66 kilowatt hour battery, which is plenty, depending on which version you get, because there's 3 versions, the EQB 250, 300 and 350, and the 250 is a single motor, so it's a little bit more efficient, and actually with that you can get a range of 460 kilometers. This being a 4MATIC, which is 2 motors, all-wheel drive, it's closer to about 416 kilometer range. Then in terms of charging, it does have fast charging, however it is capped at 100 kilowatts.
100 kilowatts, yeah, which is a bit of a restrictive. We're going to be moving to very, very fast chargers. Yeah. I honestly already have very, very fast chargers.
Now we have to say, that's still as quick as you can charge in Ireland, really, at the moment, and you will get a full charge in about half an hour, maybe just a little bit more. So it's still very impressive, to be fair. Now, let's talk about the boot, because this is the boxy G-Wagon look that I absolutely love.
But with 7 seats, you get a much smaller boot. Yeah. So you can have 495. But when you put in 7 seats, it goes down to 465, I think. Okay, so it's a little bit smaller. So it's a good bit smaller than that. Now, the 5 seats are up at the moment, so you do get a considerable size boot. It's fine, plenty of space in it. But with 7 seats, the boot disappears. You're not going to get much into the back of it. We'll have to see if I fit back there. All 5'10.5" of me. Now, will we do the infamous boot? We're going to have to do the boot test. But I think we should do it with my arm this time, because I don't fit in there. It's a human to lie down in the thing. I'm not going to do it. So we're just going to do this off the top. You ready for this? Right, so we always do this in every car. We check how good the electric tailgate is. See how the bounce back works. And if it goes wrong, the video probably won't go live. I'm trying to get my face out of the way now. Oh, thank God for that. It just for a moment it gave a little squeeze. It doesn't go all the way back up. But yeah, that does work. So there is bounce back on it. You won't die. If somebody closes the boot while you're in it, you'll be fine, you won't die. Good for the kids. Anyway, let's check out the rear and then maybe go for a drive. So room in the back with all 7 seats in place is quite tight. With 5 seats in place, it's not quite as tight. My knees are here in this point. You do get a USB port and you do get 2 vents. You can't control the temperature, but the vents are there. And there's nice little places to put stuff. Like there's a nice little armrest in the middle, and there's different little cup holders in it, very complicated cup holders in it, but there's cup holders in it too. It's quite an alright place to sit, but I wonder what it's like in the back. So, tell me what it's like in the back, Dave. It's not great for me, Bob, to be completely honest, but it's got drink holders and ISOFIX points. No way.
So if I was 5, it would be perfect back here.
And you have 2 ISOFIX points up here as well, so you got 4 full ISOFIX points in the car. That's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Now can I get out, please?
Yeah. If you've ever been in the Mercedes before, you will recognise this interior really quickly. It's not because it's electric, it just looks like a normal Mercedes interior. Nothing is where you expect it to be from any other brand. So the gear shift is up here. There's a good touchscreen in the middle of it as well. There's all these kind of touch pads and things in the centre. There is a wireless charging tray that's respectable in here, but there is a USB-C port that works very well. 2 cup holders. There's plenty of space in here in the back of this as well for more stuff that you want. Loads of storage, loads of comfort, and this software is really cool. So there's a lot going on with the software part of it. It's all electronic, this twin screen across the middle. It is actually respectable to be a bigger twin screen. You won't need it. Has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Really, I would probably go for the lower value, lower spec version of this car, simply because it's only 2-wheel drive. This is 4-wheel drive, and it does use a little bit more battery on it as well. But everything else in here just fits so well. At night time, blue lights everywhere. You're bathed in whatever colour you want. There's all kinds of colour changes inside. There's so much tech in here, and Mercedes are really trying to do the best that they possibly can for you. What we need to do now, though, is go for a spin with Dave. So EQB, 7 seats, one of the few 7-seat cars on the market at the moment as well, but it's got 4-wheel drive. There is a 2-wheel drive version.
There is, and it actually goes further as well.
Yeah. Running 2 sets of motors. Now, I don't know why you want 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, no, it's just going to suck it up, and I get it if you live in maybe somewhere where it's snowing quite a lot, but in Ireland, I think having 2-wheel drive is...
You might need it up here in wintertime, but like 4-wheel drive, again, towing is a problem for electric cars. See, this looks like a big SUV, and it has 7 seats, and it looks like a kind of a small G-Wagon, I suppose. But
it does, yeah.
It's not a replacement for a proper SUV. So if you want to tow things, you still have a restricted level.
Yeah, I think it can tow 1.8 ton, which I suppose is a caravan or maybe a car trailer, but it's not a massive tow load in that respect. But I have to say, as an everyday car in here, it is glorious. It's so nice with these little vents and then the big screens there. Again,
this all lights really up blue at night time as well. It's all very very convivial colours at night time. But like Mercedes don't do anything like anyone else. So the gear shift is up here. Just the floor is fairly flat. This little thing in here, that's also a touchscreen, but it's also got a pad down here. There's a wireless charging pad over there. They've done so many different things to it that it would nearly kind of confuse you at times. You have to find everything, but that's more down to the way we operate, jumping in and out of cars every time to get used to Mercedes. Yeah,
and I'm amazed how many times you got to say the M word without it cutting in there and asking you what you wanted to do. But what's it like to drive?
Driving is lovely. Sitting behind the wheel of this car, you will do huge mileage. I know it's an electric car, you're not going to do massive mileage in one go, but you would feel like, now there's something. Do you feel that?
That gave me the fright.
Did you feel that?
That gave me such a fright.
That is the lane keeping system in this. It is terrifying.
I wish we had a heart meter, honestly.
Yeah, because you think you crashed into something, right? But it goes up to the line. I'm going to try and do it again. You won't do it that time. It's the most random thing. But you drive along, it applies a little braking force to one of the wheels to remind you to get back in the lane. Instead of going bidip, 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 bidip,
okay,
it reminds you that way.
That's a bit unusual.
But if you do that on a motorway, you'll think you crashed into something.
Okay, that's
at
very
speed.
Unusual.
It's very weird and kind of strange feeling. But the rest of the drive of the car itself, suspension is flat, steering is good, actually has feedback to it. You notice there's an awful lot of glass in front of us. It feels like a big windscreen.
It feels really nice, and I like this kind of front section here. We did the GLB also had that, and I really like it. It's almost it almost feels like kind of a Defender in terms of how robust it is, but then like way more glamorized and gorgeous on the inside. So prices for these, Bob, they're actually above the SEAI grant threshold. So it starts at 64,000. That's for the EQB 250, which is front wheel drive, over 400 kilometer range.
That's the one I'd actually have.
That's probably the one I'd have as well. It's cheaper, and you're getting a little bit more of a range, and it's still got all the luxuries.
It's got all the luxury, yeah. But it doesn't have the 4-wheel drive, which is what I'd be happy enough with. This one was 72.5, right? This one we're actually in.
It's a lot. So this is the 300.
Yeah, this is the 300 version of it. So 72.5, but it does have 4-wheel drive. So if you want 4-wheel drive, it is in this car. 7 seats. You know, there's no sunroof, funny enough. It is a little bit dark, and there's an awful lot of glass around the outside of it. Not sure you need it. Now,
we're about to come up to a straight, and I'm going to ask you, because we are an electric car, and I know the power figure is about 228 brake horsepower.
Full dynamic mode, sport mode as well.
If you've never been in an electric car, it's an instant torque.
Yeah, and it is, at first it's kind of scary when you do it for the first time, because there's no audible response from an electric car, and that's the problem with electric cars. You don't have, like in a fast car you would hear the noise of the car, but in this you don't hear anything. So when you put your foot down,
it just shoves you
tons of torque and no noise.
Yeah,
and it looks like we're going slow still, but we're actually going pretty quick now along those straights.
And an interesting perspective of it is, you see that number and you think 220 odd brake horsepower, that's not that fast. You see that in a lot of other cars, but this feels far faster than a Volkswagen GTI or anything like that, because it's so instant and it's so urgent, responsive.
Yeah. And every time you put your foot down, you feel that 100% torque come back on. Now the offside of that is, coming down this hill here, I can keep up the speed because of the 4-wheel drive.
You'll see my face then. I'm so nervous.
You can keep up the speed. Noise again, and you can also get a charge because I'm recharging as I go down this hill.
So regenerative braking, is it one pedal or is it just?
Not quite one pedal. When you put on the full 1 pedal mode, it is like on or off. So you're either stopping completely or you're going when it's on or off. So if I go into it now, D- is calling this, there's 100% braking capacity immediately as soon as you lift off your foot.
We're just creating electricity.
Yeah, you're creating a lot of electricity, but you feel like you're going to stop all the time. It feels like the brakes come on there.
Yeah, I know, it's brilliant. You get very used to that driving.
You do, yeah. You have to kind of balance your throttle between going and not going, because the minute you lift up a little bit, it's like brakes. But you don't have to replace your brake pads very often.
Servicing costs are less.
Yes, if you use it properly, it'd be good. This is it, EQB. What do you think?
I think it's really nice. I'm a big fan of the G-Wagon, and I do like that.
There is a G-Wagon, yeah.
Now I know with the GLE, the AMG really transfers it when you get that trim level on it, so it's probably one thing I'd really go for in this. Other than that, it is very
impressive. It's a bit of a plain Jane in ways. It's a Mercedes, and I know, but from the looks of it, it does get lost among SUVs. It's not a shouty EV, you know, it's not. There is a little bit of blue in the headlights and things, but there's not too much of stuff.
I like that about the iX3 as well, that it is a little bit understated. Now this does kind of sit in a class of its own, which this is really, if you want a 7-seater electric SUV, you kind of really only have this. So I can no doubt they'll do well for that reason.
They will, especially at that price point. I know it sounds expensive, but 7-seat cars tend to be very expensive anyway. Like, you know, there's loads of 7 seats, normal 7-seat cars.
And it's got that prestigious badge on it, which people love. The infotainment system's lovely. It's a nice place to sit on the interior. So I do see the attraction massively to it.
I like it. I really like it. I actually really like this.
Bob said to me earlier it's actually one of his favourite.
Yes.
He didn't say the favourite, but one of his favourites.
It's definitely in the top 5 of EVs for sure at the moment. EVs are just getting good now. They're starting to really get good, and the top 5 cars are actually really good cars to drive now. And this is definitely among those top 5.
Well, thank you so much for watching. A million thanks to Bob for bringing the EQB for us to take a look at it. We hope you've enjoyed it. Hopefully you've learned something from it. If you've ever driven an electric car or have any insight, then feel free to comment below, and of course make sure to subscribe. If you'd like to search for EQBs for sale in Ireland, you can hit the link over there. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.